Welcome to The Secret Life of Ordinary Things. I'm Cassian from Ink and Echo by Havlow Eve, where stories hide in plain sight. Today's episode is The Secret Life of Oranges, based on my book of the same name, available now on Amazon. Just search Cassian Havlow to find it. Narrated by the brilliant voices of Alex and Ari, this episode peels back the layers of history, symbolism, science, and scandal tucked inside this everyday fruit. Let's get into it.
Okay, so picture an orange. Just, regular orange. Seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, totally normal fruit. See them everywhere.
Exactly. But what if I told you that simple orange has this, incredible hidden history? We're talking empires, dangerous sea voyages, even wartime propaganda.
It's true. And that's what we're diving into today. We've looked at a whole load of historical stuff, research, all focused on the humble orange. And our mission, really, is to peel back that skin, show you the surprising story underneath. By the end, you'll definitely see that orange differently.
I think so, too. We're going way back, tracking its journey from, the very beginning, right up to the challenges it faces today.
Origins, how it spread, what it meant to people.
Yeah, and the tricky parts of getting it onto your breakfast table. So let's start right back there. Where did this whole citrus story kick off?
Well, the broader citrus family goes back thousands of years. We're talking southern China, northern India, maybe around 2200 BCE.
Wow, that far back.
Yeah, ancient Chinese texts actually mention wild citrus ancestors. By the Tang Dynasty, they were already cultivating specific types, like mandarins, valued them highly. This just shows, how long these fruits have been tangled up with human history over there.
Incredible. So was that the same sweet orange we have now? Or something else?
No, not quite. The sweet orange, the one you probably picture, that's actually a bit more recent. It's a hybrid.
Hybrid of what?
It happened naturally a cross between the pomelo, which is quite large and a bit less sweet, and the mandarin. Over centuries, this just happened.
Like nature's own breeding program.
Kind of, yeah. And as this new sweet variety developed, it started moving west. The Silk Road was key.
Right, not just for silk.
Definitely not. It was a highway for food, for farming ideas, spreading things across continents.
So the orange was a traveler right from the get-go. And I remember reading that different types of oranges showed up in Europe at different times.
That's exactly right. The first ones to get to Europe, this was around the 10th century, were actually bitter oranges.
Bitter? So not for eating?
Nope. Arab traders brought them to Spain. But people weren't peeling them for a snack. They used them for their oils, perfumes, medicine, even cleaning stuff.
Strange to think of an orange you wouldn't eat.
Isn't it? The sweet one, our orange, didn't really make it to Europe until much later, maybe the 15th century. Probably Portuguese or Genoese traders brought those over.
So for hundreds of years, the main orange in Europe wasn't even edible like we think of it.
Pretty much. Imagine that.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. How did this orange, the sweet one, become such a global superstar? What kicked things off?
Oh, a huge factor was scurvy. In the 18th century, this was just devastating for sailors.
The vitamin C thing, right?
Exactly. Lack of vitamin C. Sailors on long trips were getting incredibly sick, dying even. It was crippling naval operations, exploration, everything.
Just horrific. So how did the orange step in?
There was this Scottish doctor, James Lind. In 1747, he did some really important experiments.
Right, I've heard of this.
He basically took groups of sailors with scurvy, gave them different treatments, and the group that got citrus fruits, lemons, and oranges recovered really fast. It was clear proof.
Wow. Actual scientific proof back then.
Yeah, it was groundbreaking. Showed definitively that citrus could prevent and cure scurvy. Changed everything for navies.
So suddenly, oranges weren't just, a fruit. They were essential supplies, lifesavers.
Absolutely. The British Navy cottoned on and started making sure ships carried lemons, then oranges, and think about the advantage they gave them.
Healthier sailors, longer voyages.
Exactly. They could stay at sea longer, maintain blockades, project power further. It directly helped, the expansion of the British Empire. It sounds dramatic, but the orange played a part.
Did others catch on quickly, or did the Brits have that edge for a while?
They definitely had that edge for a good while because they adopted it systematically quite early on.
Mind-blowing. From ancient China to, fueling global empires.
Yeah.
But the story keeps going, right? The symbolism changed, too.
Oh, for sure. As they became a bit more known, oranges started to mean things beyond just being food or medicine. In medieval Europe, they were rare, expensive.
So a luxury item.
Totally. Wealthy people would display them at feasts. It was a status thing. They'd even preserve them in sugar, making them even more valuable, almost like edible jewels.
Huh. Edible jewels. I like that. And didn't they build special houses for them?
Yes, orangeries. That was a big thing in the 17th, 18th centuries. Basically fancy greenhouses just for growing citrus in cold climates.
Another status symbol.
Oh, absolutely. Having an orangery showed you were rich, powerful, maybe even a bit worldly, connected to exotic places.
Yeah.
And that you could, control nature.
It's amazing that something so common for us now was once like that. What made them more every day?
Well, the 19th century brought big changes. Transportation got faster, steamships, railways.
Right. Easier to move them around.
Exactly. And farming techniques got better. Then in the U.S., especially California, they went big on citrus. The orange became this symbol of California's promise,
Ah, the sun-kissed fruit idea.
That's the one. All that marketing about healthy golden fruit from the land of sunshine. You can picture those old ads, can't you?
I really can. Painting this perfect picture of health.
Yep. And orange juice got pushed heavily.
Yeah.
Vitamin C for the family, healthy kids. And behind that, you had more farming tech grafting for consistent food, pesticides to get more oranges, refrigerated transport.
So it went from elite luxury to the symbol of American health and abundance.
Pretty much.
Ugh.
But its story takes another turn during wartime. A couple of turns, actually.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, World War II, Florida orange juice specifically, was marketed as like a patriotic duty.
Really? How so?
It was framed as essential vitamins for the troops, supporting the war effort by drinking orange juice. You know those old-timey radio announcers?
Yeah.
Imagine them.
Do your part. Drink Florida orange juice. Sunshine and vitamins for our boys. It tied the fruit directly to national strength. Fascinating. Just weaving it into the national story like that. But there's another wartime connection, isn't there? A much darker one.
Yes. And it's important to be really clear here. Agent Orange.
Right. Vietnam.
Yeah, a devastating herbicide used by the U.S. military. The name came purely from the orange stripe on the barrels it was shipped in.
So nothing to do with the fruit itself?
Absolutely nothing. Zero connection. But because of the name, that word orange now has this awful, tragic association for many people. It shows how names and events can get tangled up, even accidentally.
Yeah, a really stark reminder. Okay, so that brings us more towards today. Oranges are produced on a massive scale now, but that comes with problems, right?
It really does. I mean, the sheer scale is enormous, and it has significant costs. Environmentally, first off, growing oranges takes a lot of water.
Right, in places that might already be short on water.
Exactly. Big strain on resources. And then there are the pesticides used on these huge industrial farms.
Bad for the local environment. Pollinators.
Very bad. Harms ecosystems, and it's a real threat to bees and other pollinators, which, we need for all kinds of food production, not just oranges.
And it's not just environmental costs, is it? There's a human side, too.
Tragically, yes. In many big orange growing areas, Brazil, Florida, other places, there are major issues with labor. Workers often face really poor conditions, low pay, exploitation, frankly.
So the cheap carton of juice in the supermarket, it hides a lot.
It often does. You've got the environmental damage, the potential labor issues, the emissions from shipping it all over the world. It adds up. Makes you look at that glass of juice a bit differently.
It really does. And there was something else about the oranges themselves being vulnerable?
Yes, that's a huge worry. Most commercial oranges, the ones grown on a massive scale, are genetically very, very similar. They're basically clones.
For consistency, I guess.
Yeah, you get the same taste, same look. But the downside is it makes the whole industry incredibly vulnerable if a disease comes along that targets that specific genetic makeup.
Like putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And there's a disease called citrus greening. It's devastating, spreading fast, killing trees. It's a massive threat to the future of orange production as we know it. Really highlights the danger of these huge monocultures.
Wow. So facing all that water issues, pesticides, labor problems, disease, what does the future look like? Are people trying to find solutions?
Oh, definitely. There's a growing push for more sustainable ways to grow oranges.
Like what?
Things like agroforestry, mixing trees with other crops, using drip irrigation to save huge amounts of water. And, of course, organic farming to cut out the harmful pesticides.
Right. Better for the environment, better for workers, maybe.
Potentially, yes. And consumers are getting more interested, too. People are looking for local citrus or older heirloom varieties with more genetic diversity, different flavors.
And I even heard something about lab-grown juice. Is that a real thing?
It's being explored. Still early days, perhaps, but it's out there as a potential alternative down the line.
So it sounds like the story of the orange. It's definitely not over. It's still changing, adapting.
Absolutely. It seems so common, so everyday, but it's still evolving, shaped by history, by technology, by our choices.
It's just incredible when you stop and think about it. From ancient Asia to ships crossing oceans to breakfast tables everywhere, it's seen so much.
It really has. Such a surprising, complex story, packed inside something so familiar. Trade, exploration, status, health, war, modern challenges. It's all in there.
So maybe the next time you pick up an orange, just, take a second. Think about that journey.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that even the simplest things can have amazing stories.
Totally. And speaking of everyday things with hidden stories, next time we're going to tackle the humble tea bag.
Another one you probably don't think twice about, but trust me, there's a fascinating history there too.
Can't wait. We hope you'll join us for that. It really is amazing what you find when you dig a little deeper into the ordinary.
Thanks for joining us on The Secret Life of Ordinary Things. I'm Cassian from Ink and Echo by Havlow Eve, where the everyday becomes extraordinary. This episode was narrated by Alex and Ari and inspired by my book, The Secret Life of Oranges, available now on Amazon. Just search Cassian Havlow to find it. If you enjoyed today's journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the curiosity. Up next, we steep ourselves in the unexpected story of tea. Yes, the secret life of tea bags is brewing for the next episode. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep wondering.